Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started here. A few things, just housekeeping before we get started. First off, this will be recorded and sent out. Second off, we would ask that everybody use the Q&A option. It's in your bottom right-hand corner. That way, everybody can be able to see your questions. And everybody is currently muted right now. We will have two stopping points in which we will unmute everybody and you guys will be able to ask your questions directly. So I guess let's go ahead and get started. So once again, I just want to welcome everybody. I'm Emily Wiseman. I'm an economist and research analyst here at the state of Nebraska NDED. Today we're going to be going over our new BRE system and our new survey that we are offering to collaborate with all of our external partners. We brought in this new system just because it's more cost effective. The programs that we'll be using, by no means are you guys obligated to buy into this system. We essentially just are using this new system so that we can share data with you. About last year, we actually switched from synchronous and ended up designing our own new survey that we conduct through SurveyMonkey, and then we've been using Microsoft Power BI as a reporting tool. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started with that. So kind of the agenda for today's training is we're going to go over our new survey and kind of how it works and how you guys can enter data in. Then we'll be going over our new reporting portal, which is Microsoft Power BI. And then lastly, we'll be going over how do you guys sign up and how do you get access to our data and sharing capabilities. So getting off started, SurveyMonkey is where we have our new survey that we built out. And I can show you guys this survey. Being in SurveyMonkey, you're going to be able to travel around and take this information and enter it in almost immediately if you would like. So a few things that are super important within the survey is this partners development organization. This is super important because this basically will link your surveys to your reporting capabilities. If you guys are, conducting surveys in Bayard, but yet you are part of the Twin City development, so you're also doing surveys in Gearing and Scottsbluff, this will allow you guys to kind of sort and delegate those surveys accordingly. And then it'll translate into your actual reports in Power BI. Also, another key thing about our surveys is that we want to make sure that you guys are inputting your dates because we want to be able to see how these BREs are being affected over time. So you guys can go through, I'll be sending out the PDF along with this PowerPoint, so you guys can scroll through this survey and kind of see how we've changed things and updated the information, and you guys will be able to enter into this survey automatically. So another thing I want to hit on with these new surveys and inputting this survey data, and all you guys are well aware of this, is junk in is junk out. We know that during BREs, not all businesses want to share as much information as we would like, but we just ask that you guys do the best that you can when entering in this data, and just make sure that it's clear and concise. Because when you guys enter data into this SurveyMonkey, what happens is when it goes into our reports, whatever you enter is what we get out. So if there are mistyping or misdates and stuff, it's going to carry forward through the reporting. So just keep that in mind when you guys are entering data into this SurveyMonkey and utilizing this tool. So moving on into the reporting feature is that we've been utilizing is Microsoft Power BI. And this report is the same for everybody that will be participating or have that connection with DED in sharing this data. So how this tool will work is you'll fill out a request and you will receive an email that looks just like this. And it'll say that DED is trying to share a report with you. You'll click on open this report and it'll pop up and looking like this. So the nice thing about Power BI is we can give you access to certain external partners. So like I said in the beginning in the survey, your external partner and what you mark is super important because that's going to give you access to your actual data. So all the reports will look like this. Power BI is super unique and it has a lot of capabilities and versatilities. So you guys can be able to mark. So if there's multiple external partners you have requested for, there'd be a list of these. And then within the report, you can filter down to cities and the report will adjust to requests and filters that you make. Also, it's super nice because you can say, I want to look at all the banks that we've surveyed, and we've done 4 survey banks under the Nebraska DED. And so I would be able to say, okay, Cornerstone, we've interviewed them in February of last year. Hopefully we'll be interviewing them again. And the really nice thing about this first page of the report is it gives you more information about who interviewed them. So if you guys want to look back on historical data and say, okay, Kelly interviewed this bank, I would like to maybe talk to Kelly about some other opportunities, or how did the survey go, or are there other things that I need to address going into this survey. Another thing about this report is there's all of these tabs on the left-hand side, and each of these tabs cover information that is being asked within the survey. So there's a section talking about industry. There's also a section that is talking about revenue and sales. And as I said before, I know some businesses don't like to share this much information, but we still collect it and we still want to be able to see the changes that are happening. Another part of the report is the expansion challenges. We are focusing on, top 5 issues and challenges that businesses are having. And like I said, the really neat thing about Power BI is that it has opportunities for you to filter. So say I want to find in Omaha the community challenges that businesses are facing. These reports are going to update to those filters, and once this loads, it'll show me, okay, in Omaha, these are kind of the issues that businesses are finding and challenges they're finding. Also, on the flip side, we also address community advantages. So I could see in Omaha what are some of the community advantages and that they are having. There's a lot of data to sort through, so we're taking a little bit of time getting loaded, but so you can see those advantages here, which are showing your top 5, and then also on your right-hand side with the tree table is showing you additional advantages that they are having. Then we also have a section that are talking about the historical versus projection. So you can see how those are being impacted accordingly through the surveys. So lastly, one of the really big perks about this Power BI reporting is that you will be able to have full access to our data as well as your own data. So this is the raw data that you'll be able to export into an Excel file, and you'll be able to develop your own reports and your own graphics through Power BI or through any type of reporting. And you'll be able to share that data, which is, super great for us and for you also, so we can all get more information from our BREs. So another perk about Power BI Pro, it's super versatile. I know Synchronous was geared only to BREs, but Power BI, once you sign up with it, it is super versatile. There's multiple things you can build within it. Me personally, I spend a lot of time in Power BI. We've built out a lot of different types of reports and stuff. So one of them that we've built out and our international team has used is we've created a directory. And so they have these tooltip capabilities. So it's super interactive, and we created this exporter directory. So we have a hub that multiple people can access this data. We've also built maps within the Power BI. This is part of our bottom line economic dashboard. And so we've built maps and also have created other graphics within Power BI. So Power BI really has a lot of opportunities that goes beyond just BRE. So don't feel like when you first sign up with this that it's like, oh, all I can do is BREs. There's so many more opportunities within the Power BI license. So a little bit about Microsoft Power BI. You have to have a commercial license. The cost for one license is $10 a month, which is so much more affordable than Synchronous. For you to access our data and access our BRE report, you have to have at least one Power BI Pro license. We are asking that all external partners are going to be responsible for their own individual license. It's super easy. You can go through Microsoft online and set it up, and it's one of probably the most easy license requests that you can get. I have resources available to help you guys set up your paid license, and then we also have instructions on how you can export your data and a few things about how to use the reporting tool. So for me, Power BI, it's super easy to use. There's a lot of information out there. So looking through Google and YouTube and whatnot. So there's a lot of learning capabilities within Power BI. So we're going to stop real quick before we move forward and see if there are any questions here. I'll unmute you guys. So if you guys have any questions, or you can just type in and use the chat, Q&A preferably, and we'll just take a quick stop here and see if you guys have any other questions.
Hey, this is Lisa Burley.
Lisa, your audio is really hard to hear.
Is this better, Cheryl?
A little bit.
Okay.
Talk loud.
I can talk loud. That's never been a problem. Are you guys going to send out the link so we can do the request to access the data?
Yes, yep. I'll cover that next. You're jumping ahead just a little bit. But yes, I will be sending out follow-up after this training. You'll be receiving this PowerPoint along with all the links. I'll also be sending you link opportunity to all of our instructions, and then also a checklist of how to move forward after this training. So you guys will receive all that in an email. So be on the lookout for that. Oh, also there will be this recording will be attached to. So if you want to share it within your department, or if you just need to go over things and review, you'll be able to. So.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, Emily.
Okay.
With the videos and stuff I've watched on Power BI, tell me if I'm wrong here. I purchased 3 licenses, one for each of my employees because we have different Microsoft accounts.
Okay.
Is there a way of only using one license for all 3 of us?
You can. It just means that you guys have to log in under the same account. If you can do with the reports that we have built out, I can give all 3 of you access to that data, so you don't have to share your login. But you can share in your login information.
And that won't affect our other Microsoft programs?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Then we've had a couple of questions come through the chat. The first one is, are all of the features made with data that we input? Yes, all of the parts of the report that Emily showed you will reflect the data that you enter. So the report will be the same for everyone, but it will show your data.
I think I have my computer.
Go ahead. And then the second question is, can our synchronous information be transferred to Power BI? DED will not transfer that information for you. Emily can, or Cheryl can speak in here. The only way I could think of to do that would be to have it, you'd have to enter it into the SurveyMonkey tool. DED, for example, is not putting our synchronous information into this new reporting tool. We're leaving it, we exported it from synchronous and we're leaving it in its original files.
And part of the reason why we ended up leaving it in its original files is because we did build out the new survey. So they're not a one-to-one comparison. So there are some differences between what was in synchronous and what is in the new survey.
And we have provided that data to a couple of organizations that needed it for some reason. This is a question really for Emily, though. If they have that in an Excel spreadsheet, they could use Power BI to create a report or analyze that data separately from what's in SurveyMonkey, and then make some comparisons.
Yep. You would be able to use Power BI and build your own report. We won't be doing that on our end. And like I said, to me, Power BI, it'd be super easy to be able to build that and be able to share that data. And you could actually export your synchronous data and then export the data share that through our report, and you could merge them together and build your own report of both systems if you would like.
And then another question is, how do we export the data, Emily? So maybe when we go on, you can show that again.
Yep, I can show you how we'll be doing that. Is there any other questions, or we'll go ahead and show that and move on?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Maybe Cheryl, you can help with this. The question is actually, how do you export data from synchronous?
So the department, exported all of the data from synchronous into an Excel spreadsheet. So we have that. ever since we stopped using it. We did that before. If you want it, work with your field staff to identify the businesses or the dates of the visits, and then we could sort that out and provide it to you in an Excel spreadsheet. And please don't ask for it tomorrow. Give us a little time. Things are a little nuts in our office right now.
And then Cheryl, is Power BI a requirement of DED?
No, it is not. We are not requiring you, but if you want the ability to work with your own data and pull it down, we can run one report from your BRE visits or on an annual basis. But that will be at at our ability to do that. So time frame. But I think that when you see what Emily's going to show you about Power BI, for $10 a month, you really have a powerful tool at your disposal then to report out on a lot of other things and customize those BRE reports into board reports and those kinds of things. So I think while we're not requiring it, no, but once you see the tool, I think you'll be impressed, and it's much cheaper than the other systems that we've used.
Another thing I'd like to add to that, so the report that you will be receiving, like Cheryl said, we can export that data for you. It's going to be the raw data, that I showed at the last part of the report. Also, the report is going to look just like it showed on the screen here. Let me pull that up. So, being Power BI, being interactive, like you're going to lose this scrolling capability. You know, you're not going to be able to
We get it.
um, initiate, or you're not going to be able to make adjustments, click on these tooltips. Like when you get the report, it's going to be just a PDF. It's not going to be interactive. So kind of keep that in mind when you do request for a report. It's just going to be the print. It's not going to be the interactive tool. So. Okay, well, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and keep going here. So if you are interested in Power BI and sharing data with us, here are kind of the next steps that you need to go through to get our access. First off, you need to purchase the Power BI Pro commercial license. It has to be a Pro commercial. It cannot be a government license. It has to be commercial. Then you will fill out our DED BRE access request. This is in SurveyMonkey, super easy to fill out. We just ask you to put in if you're a new user. We're just kind of asking this, so if we need to remove a user. But the really important part here is this number 3. What you put in for your name and also the email, it has to be the Power BI Pro license holder, because this is how I'm going to give you access to your data. And if it's not the same as what you log in for your report, you're not going to be able to see it. Also, another important part is who your external or your partners organizations are. You can select multiple ones. So we say if you are part of Black Hills Energy and you are covering multiple communities, you can select, as many communities as you would like that you would fall under. And we'll be able to give you access to all of those communities and all those entities within. I will say that if there is an entity that comes across and I'm like, this kind of seems weird, I'll probably be reaching out to you directly and having you support some information that you're approved to have access to that data. And that's simply, just to keep all of our partners happy and keep their data safe. So you'll go through, select the external partners that or partners that apply to you, and these are the same as in the survey. Like I said, you need to make sure that you select your correct partners organization, otherwise you're not going to be able to see your data. So once you fill out this request, then I will get you registered for your account. If I have any questions, like I said, I'll contact you directly. Then you'll receive that email invitation that will say DED is sharing this report with you, and then you'll be able to click on that and have full access to the BRE data and your report. I do have a little checklist that has links in it, so you'll be able to register pretty quickly. And hopefully you'll all register so we can all share data. I guess that is all I have for my presentations. If you guys have any more questions, we'll do those so now. And then lastly, if you guys do have any other questions or you start working with Power BI, feel free to email me. I spend a lot of time in Power BI. I think it's a pretty strong tool that it's constantly being updated, and so it's been really great, and it's been great for our team. We've been able to build and utilize it in more ways than one. So I'll go ahead and unmute you all here, and if you guys have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and ask those now.
Hey, Emily, it's Lisa Hurley again. I have a question.
Yes.
So when it comes to sharing the data up and down, if we enter from York, I enter one, you guys have access to it. If you enter one in our area, or Black Hills, since you mentioned Black Hills, if Black Hills enters one in our area, but doesn't select us as a partner, are we able to see that data since they're within the York County boundaries?
No. You won't be able to view that data unless they select you as an external partner. So that's why that's super important that, if it is Black Hills and they're conducting it in York, they need to select York.
So that happened under synchronous a couple of times with the state entering and us not having access. So it had to be re-entered so we had access. Are you guys working with the external partners to make sure that does not happen?
Lisa, we can audit it regularly and just check. We also have the ability to go in and change the selection if we need to, or add to it
Thank you.
if we found that that's happened.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I have access to all your county data when I'm talking to the leadership.
And
Yeah.
Just to add to that too, Lisa, like you guys do have some issues or discrepancies within a survey, like Jennifer said, we do have the capabilities to go in and update those. But just make sure that most likely you need to reach out to me or Cheryl to get those kind of capabilities, because I'll be doing it. So.
Okay, thank you.
I'm ready. Hey, Emily, this is Jason Esser at OPPD. That PDF version that you have, is that a fillable PDF?
Of the survey?
Yes.
It is not, but I can get it changed that way, so that you can fill it out. I know some people like it to be able to print it, so when they go into the survey, they can just write it out, and then when they get home, you can enter it into SurveyMonkey, but I will make it enterable so that you can make those notes on a laptop if you'd like.
Okay, that'd be great. And I got another question is are you particular in how the information is gathered?
Yeah, we can do that. Wanna,
You know, because I'll be honest, I looked at the survey and you've got about
How much do you
39
want?
questions. When I go out and I talk to my customers, I probably ask,
when
you
you're
know,
doing this, Chris?
18 of those questions, just
Mhm.
because over my 20 years,
You wanna
I've just
you just
come to learn that, hey, when the utility company starts asking some questions, they just sort of look at me and I don't necessarily get an answer. But if I send them that fillable PDF, I know them well enough that, hey, they'll probably fill it out for me and send it back to me at least.
Yeah. Um, I know due to COVID in the past here, Cheryl and their team and the field staff actually they did email it out as a PDF or filled it out as a link because you can just send them the
Yeah.
survey link in
Oh.
SurveyMonkey and they can fill it out that way. We don't have a problem with that, but just keep in mind, you know, you have that junk in is junk out. So if they do fill out things funky or like you said, if you only answer the 18 questions, just keep in mind, you know, those are only going to be the 18 information you're going to receive back. So
Yeah, Jason, the link is really easier if they're going to, you know, if they're going to fill it out, just send them the link. Just saves having to then enter the data twice, really. Somebody's entering it again. So, as always, any question on the BRE form is optional to the customer, but this has worked pretty easily. Maybe someone else on the phone wants to chime in that's had some experience because we have been using this for a while, trying, you know, testing it out. Just taking the laptop to the call and filling or tablet and filling that in right on site has really worked pretty well. And then there's no stack of surveys sitting somewhere that need to be entered.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if, you know, if I sent them that fillable PDF that
was
would
that the
actually maybe
first curve?
allow me to manage the data a little bit
Second.
better, you know, so I could follow up if they missed a question or something didn't look right. I guess if I send them a link, can I go back in and look at that result?
you won't be able to look at it not until it hits your report. So
Okay.
like I said, I'll create that PDF that you can enter into, and then you'll be able to just send that if that would make you more comfortable about gathering that data.
Yeah, I'd like to just try it that way, then maybe with a few of them, try it online just to make sure, you know, because I don't want to put garbage in and get garbage out, right? I want to try
Right.
Yeah.
to do it.
See what works best for you. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, a little extra time is no big deal. I mean, I'll make it work.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
We had one question come in the chat, and it's whether they can use the free version of Power BI or if it has to be a paid license.
You wanna maybe call back
To have access to the state's reporting system, you do have to have a paid license. The free version does not have the feature that supports this type of data sharing. You do need to purchase that $10 a month license if you want direct access to the report for your organization.
And just to add to that, and hopefully not to confuse, so like Jennifer said, you have to have the paid license to access our data, but I personally use the desktop free version to build out most of my reports. And then you can be able to upload it into your online portal, which is the paid version. So I highly recommend also getting the free version. It's your desktop, it's super really easy to use and stuff. But you will have to have the paid license to access our data.
So, what's he say? I said, so you're even quarantined like 13.
Are there any other questions?
That's impossible in quarantine. I said, what do you mean? You gotta stay away from her.
All right, if there are no other questions at this time, like I said, you guys can always shoot me, Cheryl, Jennifer an email, and we'll get your questions asked. If you have any issues, getting access or filling anything out, always give me a shout. I'll gladly help you. And I guess I hope you guys will all join and we can all share data. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I look forward to the follow-up email with all this information. So thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.